Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. When we last left off, we were walking the dog. Today, I need to clean this mess up. We'll see if that happens. And do some vacuuming. And we were looking at some Justice League of America comics, and then the dog needed to go to the restroom, and then the camera shut off. So let's start over with the Justice League Silver Age comics. It is Saturday morning. It is 9:27 in the morning, and Throwback Television is working today, which is fantastic because it hasn't worked in a while. And so let's look at a few comics and be on our merry way. Okay, so obviously a facsimile. Justice League of America number 16. Number 17. I think this is about the last comic I showed in the last video. Let me see. It might have been this one. Number 19. '23. '29. Look at that date stamp. That's great, man. What does that say? June 24th, maybe, 1964. June 20-something, 1964. Fantastic. Number 30 has either been folded to hide it at school, or as maybe it was a subscription copy that was folded to be mailed. That's number 30. 33. 34. 38. Crisis on Earth 4. I'm just really drawn in by the cover. Man, that's great. 38. Now I can read all the missing ones that I don't have in hardcover books back there, but it's so much more fun to read right out of the original comics because you're touching the history. There's a date stamp. September 13th. That's odd. It doesn't have a year. It says RECO. Maybe it was in... Oh, no, not RECO. It's RECD, received. What am I thinking? That's the date it was received at the store. Oh, yeah, what was the actual month? November. Yeah, see, it's November here, but you see it's actually received on September the something. number 43. There's another copy of 43. How about that? 47. At this point, Batman is front and center on the cover, and the go-go checks are telling you that the Batman TV show is on the air on ABC by this point. So Batman will be very prominent on the cover for a while. Well, how about that? Next issue, 48. There's Batman front and center. He remains front and center on 50. Will he be front and center on the next one? Why, yes. 51. 54. 55. Will a grown-up Robin win where his fellow Justice Society members are losing? Every summer, see, it's dated August, but it would have come out in June. Every summer, through the 60s and into the 70s, when I was a kid, there was a crisis where the Justice League would team up with the Justice Society. By number 57, Batman's not even seen on the cover. I have a feeling Batman was off the air by then. 58. I could be wrong about that, but let's see. Justice League of America 61. '63. Superman's head there looks very Wally Wood-like. I don't know if Wally Wood did inks on this cover. I'll have to look it up. But I won't remember, so I'll never do it. 63. 65. 67. 69. It's amazing how much Green Arrow changed. Like maybe a year after that, where he had super white hair. 75. And we have 82 with a partial date stamp here. But you could see there that it says, what does that say now? July the 7th. So, and again, it's one of those crossovers with the Justice Society, which happened every summer. It was a tradition. The Crisis on Infinite Earths in the mid-'80s destroyed that tradition. Okay, so here's where horror took over. Marvel, DC, the entire spinner rack. Every company were putting out tons of horror comics, and even the superhero comics kind of became horror comics and became dark looking with, I mean, it just, so. Comics Code of Authority was relaxed. They were embarrassed by the Spider-Man issues that went out without the Comics Code Authority stamp, and they still sold. And companies started to realize that maybe we can sell comics without the code. So the code decided to relax their standards and say, okay, well, because the way it was written in the mid 50s was you can't have werewolves, you can't have vampires, unless you're adapting something, some classic work of literature like Bram Stoker for Classics Illustrated or something, or if it's a cartoon depiction of Dracula like they'd have in Bob Hope or something. You'd get away with it then, but they were trying to keep the horror and crime comics from coming back. And anyway, there were also restrictions on whether the bad guy could get away at the end, and there's all kinds of, to keep comics kind of G-rated. But the Spider-Man comics came out with an anti-drug storyline, but it mentioned drugs, so Comics Code refused the seal. Stan Lee put it out anyway, and then they said, well, maybe we ought to just go through and update our standards so we don't embarrass ourselves again. And so once you say, okay, you can do horror, but just don't make it as grisly as you did back in those 50s comics, then it'll open the floodgates and everybody started releasing horror comics. So, how about that? So, thus, when I started buying comics, everything looked like a horror comic, and that was great because I love that stuff. Oh, another copy of the same issue. How about that? Yeah, everything just looked a little darker, black backgrounds and stuff. Again, everything kind of has a kind of demonic, devil-looking Bohemian Grove kind of. And that's the last issue of the Silver Age Justice League, and all my Bronze Age Justice League comics are in other boxes. But I just wanted to look through those. I just had a feeling, I don't know, I want to look at Justice League comics this morning. Oh boy. Hope the sound of the Spider-Man cartoon is not too loud, because I'll have to erase all the background noise out of this video because this remote's not working. Disney doesn't like that. They own all this stuff now. Okay, so Kazar, which is supposed to be pronounced Kazar, which is a little pun from Stan Lee, that name. Although I think the Kazar character goes back to the pulp days, before predating comics. It's a, Tarzan imitation. How about that? Oh man, there's a comic that's not bagged and boarded. I don't know if this will fit in a Silver Age bag or not. This is one I got in June from will it fit? Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it will. I should have opened it up and looked through it first. Oh well. Bag is a little snug. Oh. Okay. Kid Cold Outlaw. I didn't buy many Western comics when I was a kid, unless they. Yeah, I just didn't. I would buy a Western comic if everything else was. well, the Jonah Hex comics started coming out. I like that, but Western comics, I'd look at them and I wasn't really sure who bought them. I figured somebody must be buying them, and the romance comics were, girls bought those. But anyway, now I've grown to appreciate them and everything. But okay, so that's 90. Here's 118. $119. Okay, now they're showing a Submariner cartoon. Here's 120. Man, I have a pretty good run of these. 124. Hold on. I've got some. I gotta throw away this bottle of Dr. Pepper. I don't know why I keep drinking this crap. Hold on. I mean, I did like Western movies. I liked John Wayne movies. I liked very realistic Westerns. I liked Westerns where there's a lot of personality. I like, the spaghetti Westerns and TV shows like Rawhide and Bonanza, but just the generic potboiler Western. Sometimes just didn't grab me, but whatever. What am I doing? Okay, so let's see. Okay, this Kid Colt Outlaw number 124. This we could probably rebag this. This bag's not even that old, and yet it's just all yeah. Yeah. I never knew that they did this. They have a separate T-shirt offer ad for the Westerns with the three main Western characters: Kid Colt, Two Gun Kid, and the Rawhide Kid. I never knew they did that. There's a Marie Severin drawing down there. On the same month, you could get Fantastic Four 42, Spider-Man 28, Avengers 19, X-Men 12, Daredevil 9, Thor 119, Strange Shells 136 with the second shield. Tales of Suspense 69, Tales to Astonish 71, Sergeant Fury 21. September 65. So came out in July of 65. I was born in April of 65, so I was little feller when this one came out. Kid Gold Outlaw, 124. How about that? And here's 125. Can you believe it? Why do I have so many? 126. And then, what is this? Oh, it's a really beat up Kid Cold Outlaw Annual. Or no, it isn't. It's just a special. It's issue 130. Cool cover. Very, very beat up. What is this? Oh, it's 133. Let's rebag this one. And there's the Aurora model kits. They never made an Aurora model kit of Kid Cold Outlaw. This one has had a fold. It's not all the way down, but yeah, it is. It's been folded, but that's not a subscription fold. It's folded right along. It's not exactly in the center. I would assume that was folded up in the back of someone's jeans or also for sale that month. Fantastic Four 60, Spider-Man 46. Look at this. Gary Friedrich is the writer, the artist, the whole bullpen, which makes, I guess, what does that mean? Oh, look at this. Do you see this? These two pages are sealed together. They've always been sealed together forever. Should I? Yeah, I should. Oh, well. That means that whoever bought this back in the 60s never opened these two pages. I should probably do this more delicately. There we go. Okay, never before seen. These two pages have never been seen by human eyes. Wow. So they're just handing these pages around to the arts. It shows about how much they cared about these Western comics. They figured that the kids that bought these Western comics were, they just probably figured they were idiots. We just handed this around until we figured it was finished. The artwork. All the other stuff on the spinner rack. And some kid bought this. But it's not that I don't like it. It's just It's great. It's like anything printed before, like I said, 1975 is still a cool comic. It's just like, why would you pick that? Okay. Here's 135. Well, here's one that's not bagged and boarded. 138. Let's see if this is drawn by the whole staff. Denny O'Neil scripter, Verna Roth penciler, Herb Trimpe inker. Okay, so this is going to have some decent art. And you can immediately tell, just looking at it, that the art has a lot more personality. We Follow Shrieking Eagle. This looks like a fun comic to read. Gotcha, varmint. Oh man, this is great. This is fantastic. Again, thank you, Charlton66 sent me these bags and boards as a present. I've been going through a lot of hardships, and we'll see how things go, man. There are moments of optimism, and then but we'll see. Okay, Kid Called Outlaw 138, bagged and boarded. Okay, here's 144. This one could use a rebagging too. Maybe I should save the backing board for creating a sign or painting on it or something. This one's in pretty nice shape. Oh, my wife's calling. Better go see what's up. End to the skinny body. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, let me get this bag and boarded. Then I'll pause and put them up. I can't. I'm filming this on my phone, so I can't answer the phone while I'm. It'll cause the show to end. Okay. So 144 is bagged and boarded. Let me pause for a second. All right, well, we're back. Okay, so we were looking at Kid Called Outlaw, the greatest Marvel comic of all time. 138, 144. Oh, here's one that's not bagged and boarded at all. 147. The great Polaris nuclear sub. Looking at a message coming through. Well, I wonder whether they're going to fully disclose all the secrets about the space aliens, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, look at this artwork. Ah, Al Williamson. It's a reprint of Stan Lee and Al Williamson. Yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of reprints, it looks like. In fact, the entire comic is reprints. There's nothing new in this issue, 147. board. Oh, it's the Saturday Superstar movie. So there's a 10% chance it could be good. The theme song is always good. Why won't the volume work? It probably won't be any good. Okay, 147. All right. What is that? What's the first issue of Korak, Son of Tarzan? No, it isn't really. It's issue 46 because they continued the gold key numbering. I'm not going to record that. But it's the first DC issue. When DC got the rights to do the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff. And I think after that, all the Koraks I have are what I consider Bronze Age, so I have them with the Bronze Age comics. Now, a comic I really like is I don't hear many people talking about. It's called The Conqueror, Robert E. Howard. The artwork's great in these. It's number 2. And then after number 2, I have them all with the Bronze Age. But I'm starting to wonder if I should put some of those with these. Because I just, as soon as the corner box went away and it went to a strip going across that I separated those books. I think there's some books I could put in here. Hold on. Well, I knew I had a facsimile of 21 I needed to put in with these Justice League comics. That was the reason I got the Justice League comics out. I forgot. But I knew there was a reason. Okay, Little Kids number 3, and Margie number 36. Now, Marilyn Tully, Marilyn, I believe Tully is the owner of this comic. Clint Lynch must be her boyfriend, and she's thinking about him a lot. Clint. I would say that's a safe bet. I wonder if they got married. It's fascinating to speculate on the original owners of these comics. Here's the first issue of Marvel Collector's Item Classics. There's the second issue. Another copy of the second issue, and this must be the third issue. Why, yes. Great thing. I mean, if you don't have much money and you want to get Silver Age stuff, get those reprints, man. I recommend it. So, Justice League 21, it's a facsimile that came out at some point recently. So I'm going to put it in with my Justice League comics. Here's 29. There's 17. 19. 23. Okay, so 21, even though it's fake, goes in right with those. Okay. All right. Yeah, this cartoon looks just terrible. There's some books I need to file in with these Golden Age books here. Where did I put them? What are these over here? Oh, more comics. Where did these comics come from? Hold on. Yeah, I'm just finding tons of stuff here that I forgot was here. Okay. I forget what comes on after Saturday Superstar movie. It might be Fireball XL5. I don't know. Okay. This box has what? Oh boy. Okay, all right. This box basically it ends with Little Abner. So I have these Little Orphan Annie books that I could put in here. They're not comic books, but the Secret Society books from 36 and 37. I'll put those right after Little Abner. Okay. So George of the Jungle. Forgot I hit with the laugh. Quick Draw McGraw. Space Family Robinson. I was just thinking I need to write a song about Space Family Robinson. And Claude the Unconquered. I could probably do a song about him too on Suno.com. And I pulled these Spy Man books out, I think, to put with the Harvey books. Next time I get the Harvey box out. And this is this Little Orphan Annie. It's talking stationery. The stationery set. And this is the envelope. It came from the radio show, Chicago, Illinois, when you could just send it to Ennerly, Pridmore, Mount Bethel, Pennsylvania, with no street address and no zip code, and it would get there. I think if it was in a sleeve like this, I think I could get away with doing a smaller sleeve and then putting this in with those Golden Age comics. Whoa. All right. Goes there. I got this magazine. Right around New Year's Eve. Yeah, everything fell apart right about that time. That's when the business that my wife worked for closed up shop and are losing that extra income and various other problems, including medical expenses, have caused not too good of times here. So I look back on just a couple of months ago, and yeah, this magazine's not going to fit in that either. Oh well. Here's Captain Midnight's Secret Squadron. Look at that, man. That's a good song title too, Captain Midnight's Secret Squadron. Let's put this in. The only Captain Midnight comic I have is this one. And I'll put the Captain Midnight Secret Squadron. I'll put it before that because it's older than that. This is Little Orphan Annie premium. I'll put that in with the Little Orphan Annie stuff. No, it's too wide to fit in there. That's not going to work. Here's a Little Orphan Annie comic I could put in with the Little Orphan Annie stuff, though. And this Jack Armstrong newspaper, I could put that in under J here. Hopalong Cassidy, Howdy Doody. Oh. And my only Jack Armstrong comic is from 1947. And this newspaper is from 1944. Put that in front of that. Look at that. I got that about a year ago. From Last Frontier Comics. There's Jiggs and Maggie. It looks like it was rescued by a fireman from a fire. Okay, oh. A Hulk 104. I need to put in with my Hulk comics I was just looking at. Yeah. Okay. So Hulk one. There's Hulk 103 and 105, and now I've got a 104 to go in between. Okay. See if there's anything. Oh, I was going to look at some Bronze Age. What's in this box? I'll look at some Bronze Age stuff. Where did that go? Here it is. I decided to keep the, the classic Legion of Superheroes stories are in Adventure Comics in the 60s, but there was the 70s run of Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes is pretty spectacular in a completely different way. It's very 70s looking, but I don't mean that in a negative way. So I keep them in this in a separate box. Here's first one in this box. Yeah. These covers are very similar in a way, I think, as far as just the layout of them. This is Superboy 185, which, if someone had asked me, I would say I wouldn't even know that I owned this comic. I would have said, no, I don't have that. That's amazing. I have it. Why don't I know it? Okay. Wait a second. I'll show you. I'll show you. Oh, I didn't show you this one. Which one was first? Oh, actually, there was another one before both of those in the box. Lots of Golden Age reprints in that. Okay, and then, so these are 20-cent and higher 1970s comics. Here's 197, which is kind of like, to me, that's kind of the first appearance of Wolverine in a way. I mean, but it isn't Wolverine, it's Timberwolf. It's Timber Wolverine. That's number 197. 198. The first time my mother allowed me to operate the lawnmower to mow the lawn and then get paid for it, I bought a copy of Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. I'm sure my father would have allowed me to operate it much earlier, but my mother was, afraid I was going to cut toes off of my foot. I don't know what kind of moron would run the lawnmower over their foot, but I guess it must have happened to some kid somewhere, and she must have read about it in the National Enquirer or something. And then, so anyway, when I was allowed to mow the lawn, I remember buying a Legion of Superheroes comic, and that was the beginning of the summer, I think in 1977. So, another copy of 199. So every summer I would have this feeling I need to go buy a Legion of Superheroes comic. It kind of, when summer started, when summer vacation started, or it just became warm, I had this desire to go to a comic store and find some issues of Legion of Superheroes that I didn't have. And ultimately that wound up me buying issues over and over again, forgetting I had them, like that, issue 200. I haven't had that urge the last few years because I've been in a different place and there's not really comic stores around. Well, I'd have to drive a distance to get to one. 201. And I think, I think I bought everyone from the 70s in multiple copies because I forgot. And so there's 202. So that has gone away. And then I don't really have a sense of home anymore. I don't know. When I was in school, I would hate it. And I would just be in my mind, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. In my mind, I'd be thinking that. And that sometimes when I'm under a lot of stress, I'll just say, I wish I could go home. And then you realize, where is home? Not to be ultra philosophical or anything, but what is home? I used to know what my home. I don't live in the house I grew up in, 203, and my parents are gone, so I don't know. I don't really have a sense of home. Is home Texas? Well, maybe, but home could also be Hampton, Virginia, where I really awakened to a lot of great comic book stuff and monsters and things like that. Or home could be Germany because I lived there for 3 years. But if it is Texas, is it San Antonio where I was born and lived for the first 4 years of my life, and then came back for third and fourth grade where I awakened to all the Marvel stuff and the superhero stuff. That was wacky packages. That was Planet of the Apes, Star Trek. That was when I had this great awakening to nerd culture, is during third and fourth grade. So maybe that's my home, but I don't live there anymore. And I don't know. I don't know what home is. Maybe home is just this intangible thing that you just can't grasp. This yearning for your family, and I don't know, somewhere where you fit in. Just how this is embarrassing because I have so many. Because this is what I would do every summer. It was a compulsion. I had to go get some Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes comics because it was June, and that's something you did in June, is got these comics. 206. It starts to get really interesting with the art style. And how many copies? Just 2 of this issue. But it starts to get really, this Mike Grell art is so great. 207. For those of you that don't know, Superman, when he was a teenager in Smallville, would fly into the future, into the 30th century, to hang out with these teenagers in the Legion of Superheroes. He could fly through the time barrier. And 208, 209, and see, by this time period, everything was so discoed out. They were all dressing like members of ABBA, like outer space ABBA members, and it was great. $210. Okay, this cigar stripe, this cigar band looking thing at the top with DC in the center, that's indicative of 1976. So this is issue 210. So we're coming up to when Star Wars comes out. 210. It's another 210. You know what? I don't have 211. Wow. See, look at that. Look how they're dressed. Another copy of 212. I need to get a copy of 211, man. That's, I thought I had all of these. 214. But apparently I don't. There's 2 more of that. Oh no, it stopped. Oh shit. It's still unstable. I'm sorry for the cussing. 214. I'm missing 215, 216. Man, that stinks. Okay, so it went for quite a while, since 8 this morning till now, and it's luckily I'm not recording. It's 10:30, but it's still haven't. See what happens is Throwback TV goes to this purple screen and it says, sorry, the program is temporarily unavailable, and then you have to hit press OK and then click to watch Throwback TV, and it takes you back to it. What a mess. Oh well. So the one bright ray of sunshine turns out to be a dud. Okay, great. There's 219. What was I missing? I was missing 215. Yeah. Okay, 216. That I'm missing 217 and 218. Maybe I should write those on the lid. 220. Yeah, I should, shouldn't I? rather than going back through this. What was the first one I was missing? 208, 209, 210. I'm missing 211. Oh, I've already done it. I already did it. So, is that right? I'm missing a lot. What? Okay, all right. Well, apparently these are the ones I'm missing. 184, 185, 186. Why am I missing all of those? Why have I not been able to find them? I'll have to look up these covers later. Maybe they're in another box. There's 220, 221. I'll be able to show you the one I bought on that day pretty soon. Here's one that needs to be rebagged. Oh boy, did that stink to find out that it's still unstable. Not in the best shape, but $0.30. That was 1976. And here's a really beat up copy with a spine roll, and that's not going to fit in a bag because of that. Here's 223, 224. Look at this. Look at the bell bottoms and the outfits they wear. 2024, 225. I'm missing 226. Here's 227. Ooh, I'm missing 228, 229, 230. Here's 231. $232. I'll have to check with Kevin later this afternoon and see if he has any of these missing issues. 233, or if he's watching this episode, I'm sure he'll check the bins. I don't know if there's a lot of people seeking these things out. Here's 234. Another copy of that. Missing 235. Here's 236. 237. Oh, this is 238 reprints a 1960s story. There's another copy of that. Oh, this is the one. 239. This is the one I got that, with that money from the lawn mowing. This is the actual copy. So this would be about the time that Star Wars came out, that same summer of 77. In fact, it has, they go into a bar with a bunch of aliens, just like in Star Wars in it. 240. 241. Another copy of 241, 242, oh, sorry, I'm not even showing you 242. Bunch of copies of that. $2.43. Usually these are like books that you could get for a couple of bucks. Maybe they're up to $5 now. I don't know. $2.44. Here's $2.45. $2.46. Missing $2.47. Here's $2.48. Oh, here's one that's not bagged and boarded of $2.48. Oh, it's a Mark Jewelers. Oh my gosh, what luck! A Mark Jewelers variant. Yeah, well, anyway. How much do these things cost? Oh, there's a 1979 calendar interrupted by the Mark Jewelers variant. That sounds like Jonathan Harris's annoying voice. Oh, it's showing, it's not a calendar, it's showing, what is it showing? Special issues coming up, I guess. I'm trying to see what these things cost. $20 twice monthly, 21 payments. 21 payments of $20 twice monthly, so that's $40 a month, and you have to pay that 21 times. $20 twice monthly sounds better than $40 a month, so they're fooling these, because these were comics sold on Army, Air Force, Navy bases, so they were trying to get young guys to buy jewelry for their sweethearts back in the States or wherever they were stationed. Yeah. Wonder how many women didn't realize the rings came from a copy of Superboy. Anyway, some people pay more for that Mark Jewelers variant. I'm not really exactly sure why. It has meaning to me because I bought so many comics on Army bases, and sometimes when my father was retired, he'd go to the Air Force base that was nearer to us, because when you're retired military, you can go to any military base. There's a PX a PX is like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a Target. It has everything, in it. And then there's the commissary that's like this big supermarket. And the prices are lower. And you have, note, you don't have to pay any tax because you're in the military. It's $2.49. So here's $250. And then I have a whole bunch of copies, for some reason, of $251 that look like they just came off the newsstand. So let's get them, at least one of them bagged and boarded. Yeah, I ought to check the mail too, see what we've gotten. Okay, so that's that. That's box one. There was a box two. Here it is. Oh. Well, this box has a bunch of damaged junk in it. Let's take a look at this. I was telling you last episode or on a recent episode that at Lone Star Comics, they would sell these Wounded Wonder packs with damaged comics. And they said, and that you couldn't see what the comics were. It was just a big stack of comics sealed. But they said all of them are from before 1975, and some are good reading copies. Anyway, here's some are in this box here, so you can get an idea of how messed up they were. Might as well put them into bags and boards. This is a copy of Supernatural Thrillers #3 with a Robert E. Howard adaptation. It's got bug chew, which is a disgusting thing. But other than that, it's okay. Gil Kane artist, Ernie Chua inker, would later be Ernie Chan. Yeah. It's being billed as one of the greatest monster epics of all time. What else is in here? Here's Werewolf by Night #17, which is okay. Again, it has some bug chew going up there. I have a childhood copy of this that's in much better condition than this. But this is one of the books that came in one of those Wounded Wonders packs. And this is Don Perlin, artist. Interesting. Okay. Oh, there's a split here as well. But if this is bagged and boarded and put on a spinner rack, it will look fine. And that may be what I'm about to do here in a second. What else we got here? Here's a 20-cent Doc Savage, Man of Bronze. It feels thicker, so it might be a Mark Jewelers. No, but it does feel thicker. Oh, I remember tracing this ad as a kid, this ad for Monsters Unleashed. That ad means a lot to me. Why does this book feel so... Oh, look at this. Look, watch. Look at this. It's got 2 covers. But look, the second cover is messed up. It's yeesh. I wonder, so that's why this book feels thicker. It has two, it's a double cover one. That's a very rare thing. And the cover underneath isn't really in that much better shape. the Now the back cover, I guess it's a little brighter. Let's see, is it noticeably brighter? Yeah, it kind of is. It's cool to get that super bright. Never been exposed to sun or much light at all. Well, that's unique. I didn't realize there was a. It still is a piece of junk. I mean, look. I mean, it's a great comic, but I have a better copy of it. But see, the bug chew is just that's one of the disgusting things. I forgot to mention when I was talking about things that I'll tolerate in a comic book, but bug chew is one of the things I don't like. I think I mentioned ancient boogers. Oh boy, horrible. Well, I hope you're doing wonderfully this wonderful Saturday morning. Yeah, Marvel's run on Doc Savage predated the movie that came out in 1975. Then when the movie was coming out, Marvel started up doing Doc Savage again as a magazine. With hopes that it would be a big hit, but what else we got here? Dang, man. Some of these are just really trashed. This one doesn't have a back cover, but might look okay in a spinner rack. I have a better copy of this, but ooh, it's got bad bug chew. You see that? Eee, horrible. That's when people store these in like a shed or something like that. Or I don't know where these what are they, silverfish or something? I don't know what you call them. This one store near where I used to live bought a gigantic collection of amazing books, and they all had bug chew, and that stuff got put out into the boxes, and it every time you look, you'd have to at a comic, you'd have to look. Okay, is there bug? And then yeah, inevitably there was, and it would be some amazing issue. And okay, so this second box is 251. I have some of those beat up comics at the back of this box to fill the box out because I didn't know what to do with them. 251. Here's 252. Missing 253. Here's 254. Ooh, this is interesting. Same comic. I would say this is lighter because of exposure to the sun in the 7-Eleven window, because the spinner rack was facing the sun. I bet this is a summer issue. Yeah, September. So you go back. This would have been out in July. So the July sun in Texas was hitting this comic. This one was not being hit by the sun. I think that's what the difference is there. Because these are almost all of these comics. Majority of my comics are going to be comics from Texas because I lived in Texas most of my life. 256. And I didn't buy a lot through mail order. Here's 257. Seems like there's an earlier issue from the 60s where the Legion's being marched in chains onto a ship, and there's also a Justice League cover like that. We may have just looked at it earlier. I don't remember. 258. Several copies of that. And that's about it. Why do I stop at 258? Oh, I see. Well, at some point, here's 258, and then issue 265 is just Legion of Superheroes. Superboy, I think, was given his own comic, and they separated the two. So the run continued as Legion of Superheroes. Here's 265. And then at some point, 267, because we're getting into the 80s here, 269, at some point, Crisis on Infinite Earths happened and everything changed. And here's another copy of 269 that's not bagged and boarded. Let's see what year we're up to now. 1980. Jimmy James and someone named Frank Chiaramonte are artists. So they've got these artists that nobody's heard of, but the art's not terrible. It's not. Huh. Well, I don't know. Okay. 269. Here's a 273. This is not a comic I originally bought. This is a comic that I bought secondhand. It's not in condition that I would like. It's like someone's selling this horrible stuff. Creature Creations. Meet the funniest, craziest, most gruesome family of creatures to arrive from outer space. These 8.5 by 11 posters feature the first of these creatures to fly this side of the galaxy. There are more coming, so start collecting now. And it's from Canopus 1. And look at how bad the artwork. They're trying to do like Big Daddy Roth kind of monsters and hot rods, but these are aliens. Man, it looks like they were done by. It would look good if this was like a 7th grader drawing this, and they're selling it for. Wow. This was there's a full page C Monkey ad. Yeah. A lot of things started to be less special as you got into the 80s. And it wasn't just that I was getting older, 274. It's just that a lot of things weren't as good anymore. This is a good cover, 275. Who's this artist? Oh, Dave Cockrum. $276. I don't know what show comes on next. Oh, here's another copy of 276. Not bagged and boarded. Let's look inside. New for 1981. Baseball cards. Ooh. This is nice artwork. It looks almost like it was inked by Wally Wood. Couldn't be, could it? Oh, Steve Ditko was the guest penciler. F. Charmante inker. Someone is yeah, I'm seeing. Okay, I am seeing the Ditko now. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Ditko, but it's with someone else's inks. Huh. It's commercial. Okay, 277. Yeah, ads started to be kind of ugly. It's almost like they were trying to make them badly drawn to make them look like they were drawn by kids, maybe. I don't know why a kid would want to see badly drawn art. Yeah, yeah, it's starting to be an ugly time here. Oh, Fireball XL5. I have all of these on discs, so I don't need this, but I'll just record the opening titles and stop the disc since I'm already recording. 276, 277, 281. I don't really need to fill in the gaps in this time period because this is just, it's okay. It's just it's still good. It's not like the comics of today. Well, there's the, oh, that's so weird. That's backwards, but when I hold it up to the camera, I'm seeing it right. I'm seeing it spelled correctly. Oh, okay. And when I'm looking at the camera, Legion of Superheroes is backwards, but that weird. I wonder if it. Do I have some weird setting on that's making things backwards? Oh, the artwork looks good in this one. Who's doing the art here? Howard Bender, penciler, Bruce Patterson, inker. Well, some of these they're getting people that that aren't household names as comic. Well, there's no comic book artist that's a household name. Normal people don't know the names of any comic book artists. They probably don't even know Jack Kirby. A normal person, a normal person that they don't know any of this. Here's 285. Okay. Keith Giffen and Larry Malstead, artist. Yeah, this looks pretty good. These bags and boards are pretty darn good. I wonder if I saved the packaging to know what the brand was. You can get them from Amazon. Let me stop this. 286. There's a Swamp Thing is back ad. What is this? Oh, it's a Mark Jewelers, huh? Is that what's going on? No, it's not a Mark Jewelers. It's a Space Invaders. Nothing can save you from asteroids. Missile Command, Video Pinball. Atari, the most exciting games in the galaxy. Again, real amateurish art. Wow. And then they have a DC house ad on the back of the color insert. Yeah, this is what killed comic books, is being able to play video games in your house. That's when comic books went down. Video games took them out. 286. There's 287. 290. What year are we up to now? 82. I don't think the Crisis on Infinite Earths comic started till the mid-80s. But this was certainly a better comic in the 70s. Of course, even better in the 60s with adventure comics. 290. 291. Okay. Sergeant Rock is on the move in 82. New from Remco. Sergeant Rock 3 3/4-inch action figure, combat ready with weapon and gear, fully posable, plus free dog tag with your own serial number, only one of its kind, available soon at your favorite toy store. So they were marketing Sergeant Rock as a little toy, hoping to cash in on G.I. Joe. Oh, this was a disaster, this movie, Megaforce. Look at how ugly that looks. But that was, that was Hal Needham. Hal Needham was a stuntman that, I think he was a stuntman that worked with Burt Reynolds, and somehow, did he direct Smokey and the Bandit? Is that what happened? Maybe Burt Reynolds got him to direct Smokey and the Bandit, and then Hollywood thought maybe he had talent, and which he didn't, and they let him direct some movies, and Megaforce was one of them that was a total bomb. I never saw it. I mean, it looked terrible, and everyone said it was terrible. Siskel and Ebert and all those type people. So I really don't think it was any good. 296. It just there's no way it could have been. Okay, this is 298. It has a special supplement promoting Amethyst, which was a real. It was a sword and sorcery type comic aimed at girls, and I don't know if it was to sell action figures or if they had action figures. I don't recall, but that's 298. And 304. .305, we're almost at the end. Oh, there's a look at this James Bond game, what it looks like. .306. Okay, you're starting to get these covers that don't show anything. A Kool-Aid video game. Oh, at this point, they've started to print comics differently. They have brighter colors. I remember when that happened. 1983, December. Okay, so I'm in my first year of college when this came out. There were still some good comics coming out then, but just wasn't as exciting. 305, 306, 312. People collect these superpowers figures. I thought they looked junky when they came out. But, you know, were they aimed at me? June of '84. Oh, that was the summer I worked in a movie theater. Yeah, the summer of '84. That's when Ghostbusters and Purple Rain and Star Trek 3, Search for Spock. What else came out? Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. Yeah, working in a movie theater, Lowe's movie theater. That Lowe's theater that I worked in, there's 337, has been torn down, and there's a Sephora where it used to stand. 343. Oh, the Karate Kid came out that summer. This is 2 years already. 2 years later. I'm not buying every issue. This is Karate Kid, but it's 1986. Maybe there was a sequel to the Karate Kid 2 years later. Yeah, but the colors are very much brighter. They've started printing comics differently at this point. Yeah, much brighter. Oh, at this point, it becomes Tales of the Legion of the Superheroes. And then there was another Legion of Superheroes. It's around this time it becomes very confusing, and then they start the numbering over. It becomes very complicated. So it's better to not collect later period stuff. 349. And then there was this miniseries, Secrets of the Legion of Superheroes. That's number 1. Number 2. Here's issue 300 anniversary. Huh. I have this out of order. I have 3 copies of that. Yeah, it's a big, thick issue. Oh, man, this is interesting. What is going on here? Okay, they've got Kurt Schaffenberger, who's a classic artist that worked on Lois Lane, to come in and do this Legion of Superheroes art. And it looks like classic 1960s art because they used an artist from that time period. That's brilliant. They should have been using him the whole time. I just like the art from that time period. Okay. So I have 3 of 4. No, I have 3 copies of that issue. This one. Let me put that back where it's supposed to be. I'm sorry this episode's not very dynamic. I'm not in a good mood. That's annual number 1, and there's annual number 3 out of a dollar bin. And then there was, I guess when it became, what did it become? Tales of the Legions of Superheroes. I think they did that with Teen Titans too. It became Tales of the Teen Titans, and then it became a Baxter. They used a different kind of paper, and this was a directly distributed only to comic books with nicer paper, and usually they would have slightly more adult themes. Notice it doesn't have the comics code, so they could get away with being a little more like, PG in it. So this is issue number 9 from April 1985. And this may be after I don't know. I thought the Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff happened in 86, but it might have been before that. I don't know. This is number 29. See, I just came back occasionally to try out an issue. Here's then there was a comic just called Legionnaires, number 16, and this is an Adam Hughes cover. This might actually, I think people seek after this. See that? That's Adam Hughes. It's, Well, I have another copy of it. I mean, I've seen people like Night Tiger on YouTube says he buys this whenever he finds it. And the interior art is by Chris Gardner and Dennis Kramer. Interior art kind of looks like that. Interior art is kind of ugly. I mean, it's not. It's kind of horrible. I've seen worse, but it's not the time period that I like. I just don't like that kind of. But people buy it because of this cover, and you can probably figure out why people buy this issue. Okay. The cover art only, just like every modern comic. And then there was Legion 91, and I don't know what that is, and I bought this for the cover. I don't know if the art inside was good, but I just got it out of a dollar bin because I like the cover. Man, what is this? And then here's an annual, number 3. Yeah, it just becomes very confusing to figure out where things go. And this is from 1987. The artwork in here is more, it's more better. It's more better. I don't know. Yeah, it's okay. It just doesn't have Superboy in it anymore. And it's, then later they would make Supergirl part of the Legion because they couldn't use Superboy anymore because of a lawsuit with the estates of Siegel and Schuster, the creators of Superman. They also created the Superboy character, and they didn't. The contract they signed with DC did not give them the same ownership. So what they had to do was they couldn't use Superboy anymore. Well, they can use the name Superboy, but he has to be a different character. He can't be Clark Kent as a teenager. He's some kind of clone, a mixture of Superman and Lex Luthor, and wears a black t-shirt. Or in this Saturday morning cartoon they made based on the Legion, they called him Superman, even though he's a teenager. They just said he was already calling himself Superman. And the Saturday morning cartoon was pretty good. This is a free comic book day book, so that's why I picked it up. Man, I've got some books in here. Why is this in here? Enemy Ace, War in Heaven. This has some pretty good art. It's a graphic novel. Put this in this box. I forgot about this No Prize book. Look at this ad that looks like a cover. Weird. Okay, fantastic. That needs to go somewhere else. Direct Currents. This is a little house advertising magazine. Oh my gosh. Promoting that terrible movie. I don't know what any of this garbage is. What is this? I guess I picked this up when this came out. I picked up a couple of issues of this. I tried to figure out what it was. Thought maybe it's good. When comic books look like this, what the heck? This is the 90s. What was I thinking? Oh, there's Rob Liefeld appearing at some convention. I hear he's a nice guy. He's got his own YouTube show now. That's just, everything looked like that. That's how I sum up that entire era. Do I want to put these in bags and boards? Does it matter? Are these valuable? I feel like that would be a waste of a bag and board. What is this? Oh, it's the second printing of the first issue of this. It can't. This might be worth as much as 50 cents. All right, it's got 2 covers. If you're going to do variable covers, you might as well just do them like this, where they're both on the same actual magazine. Oh, it's a flip book. Look at this. Isn't this just dynamic and gripping? This little freebie thing you would get at the comic store showing some action figures. When they're starting to make the action figures look better. This is what is this? The 90s? Oh, this this figure I have right over there. I just found it a minute ago. 2003, man. Oh, wow. It seems like that was just yesterday. What is this? Why do I own Samurai Cat? Is this a dollar book, or do people care about this? It's obviously. Gee, I wish we could get some of that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles money. Let's make radioactive adolescent hamsters from hell. I'll bag and board it. That's all right. This is the Dallas Comic Con. It's a program from 2006. That looks like that's painful, Catwoman. I mean, holy smoke. Who who draws this and thinks, I think that's a great pose? It's all right. It's okay. Ethan Van Sciver, Mike Grell, Steve Rude, 2006. Where did Kerry Gamble? That makes sense because he lived in Fort Worth, which is not far from this place. Oh boy. I guess I'll throw this in a bag and board. Maybe it's collectible. Who is this artist that's drawn Catwoman in such a way? Okay, oh my gosh, here's another one of those Wounded comics. It's Star Wars #2, except it's got no cover. And I bought all these when I was a kid. This, I think the third issue was on the stands when the movie came out. This is August of '77. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was this issue on the stands when the movie came out. But this issue Star Trek Lives. This goes through what point in the movie? What's happening here? Okay, so Jabba the Hutt is talking to Han Solo. There's Jabba the Hutt, that yellow guy. Of course, that scene was cut out of the movie. I wonder why they drew him looking like that. Did they really? I don't know at what point George Lucas decided to cut the Jabba character, but I know he wasn't supposed to be a giant slug. Because here's Greedo looking pretty much exactly the way he looked in the movie. And Godzilla's coming. They weren't really able to get a likeness of Harrison Ford that much. Let's see, how do they show the severing of the arm? Do they show that? Well, a little bit. You see the little hand there, but it looks like he's more hitting the guy right in the gut with the lightsaber. When I went to see Star Wars, I had a impression it was a much more adult movie. I thought that it was going to be like a Hammer movie, like a science fiction Hammer movie, because it had Peter Cushing in it, and I thought that it was going to be a lot darker and bloodier. I think, because I guess his parents, his aunt and uncle, do they show him roasting here? And anyway, when I saw it, I realized, this is like an old movie serial. This is of course, this comic was reprinted so much, but I think this is the actual original. I've got all these in perfect condition from when I was a kid. But interesting to look at the beginning, before the movie even came out, of a franchise that would, it's still around now, and so hasn't been. I haven't liked anything since Return of the Jedi, and Return of the Jedi was not fully satisfying after Empire Strikes Back, but I have no interest in anything Star Wars today, of any type, shape, or form. What comes on next? What time is it? 11:30. Look at the little. What is that in there? Hold on a second. Oh, that's. I was wondering what that was. That's her tail there. Let me get you off this. Little kid in there. Anyway, sorry I'm in such a bad mood today. I'll talk to you guys later.